right, we are moving on with our standard form graphing. The first thing you want to do is find the intercepts. Anytime x and y are on the same side, your goal should be, what are my intercepts? And then we're going to plot them and connect them. So we're going to graph this first line in only line. Instead of getting in slope intercepts as we usually have done, we're going to find the actual intercept. So we have two intercepts. We have an x-int and a y-int. The x-int, y is 0. The y-int, x is 0. I like to have a little box to cancel out variables. When y is 0, it's all gone. So I have just x equals -2. When x is 0, I have -2y equals -2, so y is 1. So my x-int is -2. My y-int is 1. Connect. There is the line. Huge. What we just learned is huge because before I told you guys to get y alone in slope-intercept form, and it's always a little more confusing. You got to subtract the x term here. You get -2y equals -x minus 2. Divide through by a -2. That would turn to +1. This shows my y-int is at 1, just like what I found. And my slope is, this is +1/2. So that means up 1 over 2. Okay? All right. Next property. We need to learn the properties of standard form. So everybody should be on this page in their notes. Standard form, ax plus by equals c. That's standard form, ax plus by equals c. The x and y terms are always on the left side. If they're not, you need to move them. There are never any negatives at first. You should always start out positive. It's just like if you're about to play a game, you don't have a negative mindset right away. You got to keep a positive mindset or your game's going to be off. Okay? If any kind of athletic game, it's proven. There's so many people that if they have a negative mindset about it, like, oh, I'm going to stink at this. Well, you're probably going to stink at it because you're looking for things to go wrong. We don't want to start out negative. It's not -ax plus by equals c. Never. You never want to start out negative. You always want to start out positive. So x is always positive. And first. Okay, so integer coefficients is the next concept. Integer means a positive or negative number, not a fraction. Okay? Coefficient. It's a number in front of variable. That's what a coefficient is. Like if I had 3x, the 3 is the coefficient. -9y, the -9 is the coefficient. Okay? If I say write something as an integer coefficient, that means get rid of any fraction. So write using integer coefficients would mean get rid of any kind of fractions if you have them. How? How do you get rid of fractions? You multiply by the denom. Anytime you want to get rid of a fraction, well, what makes it a fraction is that bottom number. A fraction is really division. To get rid of division, you multiply. So you're going to multiply everything through by the denominator. The bottom number. The only thing you wouldn't multiply is anything that's inside parentheses. If there's anything inside parentheses, the parentheses are like a shield. So it's protecting it. It's like a bubble, okay, or a house. So it blocks it off. So anything that has a parentheses, you will not multiply inside it. But you multiply anything that's outside of the parentheses. So 1/4 x plus 3y is 5. Well, first off, it's almost in standard form. Ax plus by equals c. The only thing that makes it not in standard form is the 1/4. That's not an integer. That's a fraction. Fractions are not integers. So I need to get rid of a fraction by timesing everything through by that denominator. It's really timesing by 4/1. That's truly what's going on. So it cancels out the denominator. I'm left with just this, 1x. So x, or 1x, plus 3 times 4 is 12y equals 20. Perfect. Except, remember, 1 likes to hide as frequent as it can. And that's the equation in standard form. (4x plus 2/3 y equals 1). What do I need to multiply through by? Say it out loud. 3. Am I going to be able to multiply everything by 3? Yes. So times 3 times 3 times 3. Do not turn this into 6. The 3's cancel out. You're only left with the numerator then. So 3 times 4 is 12x, plus what's left is 2y equals 3. Done.